Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing the reality of living here in NYC. So a little background, I've been living in NYC for almost the entire 27 years of my life, and I have had quite the experience. I lived here from the age of my birth until the age of about 11 years old. I lived in Staten Island. Then I moved to Delaware for a bit, which was just my middle school year. So up until I was about 15 years old, I moved back to Staten Island. Then I moved to Jersey in 2017, and then I moved to Queens, where I currently am, in 2018. So I've lived in New York for most of my life, and I've been working in Manhattan for about 9 years now. So it's been quite the experience. It has been a wild ride, still continuing it. I'm currently still living in Queens. I particularly really like it here. I thought I never would, but surprisingly, it is a pretty good area that I like, and you know, it also comes with its downfalls. So that's what I'm going to share with you guys today, is the reality of living in New York is not all that it seems, as you may think. Of course, there are wonderful things about it, but I am here to share the negatives because, you know, that's just how I am. So let's jump right into it. So the first number one thing that I always think of when I think of NYC is the pest. Yes. So you have your rats, you have your cockroaches, you have your raccoons, sometimes your possums. Now, I remember there was one time in my backyard in Staten Island, I saw a raccoon walking across my backyard looking like a human on all fours, and I was really freaked out by that. It's kind of nerve-wracking. You don't know if you're gonna walk to the bus stop and then you might see a human-like figure walking across a street or running across a street on all fours. It's quite a sight to see, but that is the reality of living there. There might be raccoons in other places, here in Queens as well as possums. Those are pretty scary. Dealt with a few of those in my garbage pails living back at home. But the main ones are the rats and the roaches. Now, depending on your living situation, if you're in an older building, you'll usually experience rats and roaches, depending on if your neighbors are clean or not. You know, that is undefeatable when it comes to living with other neighbors who might not be as clean as you may be. But also rats. You're definitely gonna see rats when you're here. Like, without a doubt, you're gonna see it. You're walking past some garbage on the sidewalk, yep, one's probably gonna run out. I went down to 34th Street and I saw about 20 of them run right past my feet, and it was pretty scary. But you know, that's what it is. It's nothing to be ashamed of if you do have any of those. It is fine, it is New York, we all get it. It is understandable. But yeah, that's just one of the negatives, for me at least. If you like the rats and the roaches, that's fine. Some people have pet rats, that's cool. That's cool for you, not for me. The next thing is how expensive it is. So living here is extremely expensive. Now, my rent is pretty high for what I pay for. It's a studio apartment. I do have in-unit dishwasher and washer and dryer. I live right next to the train, so you could just imagine for a studio with all those amenities, it's pretty expensive. But as is majority of apartments here. Recently, I've been looking at apartments on websites like Hot Pads and Street Easy, and the lowest I've seen is probably $1,500 for a studio, or possibly a 1-bedroom if you're lucky, and higher. So you're not really gonna get anything lower than that, which is pretty insane compared to other places like where I lived before. it is very, very expensive. You also have to pay for public transportation if you are taking that like I do. I don't drive. Even driving, the parking sucks here. So most people are relying on public transportation, which is like $2.75 unless you're taking the express bus. That's like $6 and some change. I'm not sure, I don't take it. But even taking Ubers and stuff, like you're always gonna be traveling with the transportation because driving is not, it's not realistic here. So yeah, you have to account for that. I do like a monthly Metro card situation at my job for my transportation, so that kind of helps because of before taxes. But if you're someone that your job doesn't offer that, you're gonna be budgeting that amount of traveling into your everyday budget. Also, some like fast food places here, like I'll order from McDonald's and it's way more expensive than other states. Like a meal here is probably like $12.95 for like a medium sometimes, like especially in Manhattan. It's pretty expensive. I'm like, dude, come on, I might as well just go to a gourmet restaurant and try to, you know, get some appetizers or something, because I'm not spending $12.95 on a chicken nugget meal, okay? I know sometimes when my best friend comes up here from Delaware to visit me, she's kind of surprised about how like expensive certain things are, which I don't realize living here. It's completely different, because when I would visit her there, I'm like, wow, things are way cheaper there than it is here. And that's just, majority of places everywhere is cheaper than it is here, which is insane to me. It's just the cost of living is insane. The next thing would be how crowded this place is. This place is like overpopulated, I feel. Same thing going back to apartment hunting. There's barely any apartments available right now. It is crazy. There are people everywhere. Trains are freaking crowded. Just getting home sometimes on a regular 5 o'clock basis, it is crowded. Rush hour in the morning, it's crowded. You're gonna have traffic everywhere you go. It's very insane. I honestly went to the mall the other day, and of course during COVID everything was like, oh my gosh, this is a dream, everything is empty. Well, I went to the mall the other day and there was like 1,000,001 people there, and I'm like, this is how it was before, and I couldn't even imagine it. And it's just crazy to me how many people live here. And not only the civilians living here, but you have to account for the tourists. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tourists here, specifically in hotspot areas that you guys probably know well, like Times Square or Soho. You're gonna see a lot of tourists, so that just adds to even more people. If you're not someone that likes to have a crowded area or neighborhood, then this is definitely not the space for you. Of course, there are some areas in New York that, you know, aren't as crowded, but if you're gonna be in the 5 boroughs, you're most likely gonna have to deal with that. So this has been a hot topic for the past couple months, which is the life of the subway and the trains, and kind of feeling unsafe on the trains. I'm not gonna get too deep into it, but there have been some things on the news, if you guys might have seen, about just being unsafe on the trains. Now, I am someone that I mind my business and I'm usually just on my phone majority of the time on a train. Of course, I am aware of my surroundings, which is one major thing you need to have while you are here, is being safe. You need to be aware of your surroundings at all times, because it's not the safest place here, you know? Of course, everywhere isn't safe, but in New York, everyone thinks, oh, it's a beautiful city, city life living, wonderful. Within the city, it's a city. So there's gonna be some times where it's not gonna feel safe, which is a few times that I've noticed in my life, but you know, people might have had it worse, which recently they have. And I just had to kind of be aware, like when you're waiting for the train, like make sure you're not standing on the yellow line, try to stand further. Even as someone by myself, I usually stand like against a pole or something, so if anyone was to come up behind you and just push you on the tracks, you kind of have that security, which is kind of scary to think about when you think about it, but it happens and it has happened. And even like listening to your music when you're walking home, like anywhere you are, you should not have it blasting, you know, gotta be aware if anyone's behind you. You can also carry certain things with you. I will not mention on here because I am not trying to get this video taken down, but little things to keep yourself safe. I definitely do have some of those things. Never had to use it, knock on wood, but you know, just as a woman particularly, I want to be safe traveling here alone, living alone as well. You got to be safe out here because out there is scary. Yes, there are some people that aren't too well. Yes, mental illness is a very serious topic when it comes to stuff like this, but also for yourself. So the most you can just do is just try to be safe, you know? Still be nice to everyone, that's fine, but just be aware of your surroundings. The next thing is going to be that this city is a very fast-paced city to live in. So everything is just moving at the speed of light and there's no stopping it. So if you're on the sidewalk, keep it moving. Don't stop in the middle of the sidewalk to have a phone call. Like, step to the side and let the people walk, because 9 times out of 10 you're gonna get pushed and you're gonna get cursed at for just standing there. That's the reality. So I advise you to do stuff like that. You know, if you're going on the train, let the people get off first, then you get on. Will make everything smoother. If you're trying to get on the train that's crowded, just try to move in. I know COVID, I hated it when the trains started to get crowded again. It's so annoying. I really do despise it. But you know, it's the reality of it. What you could do is just wait for the next train if you don't have anywhere to be on time, which I do sometimes in the morning if I have a little extra time and I don't feel comfortable getting on a crowded train. I will wait a bit, but just make sure that you're checking the train times, because one train might come and you might miss it and the next one might not come for another 15 minutes because it is delayed because someone might have pulled the brakes. Even certain businesses like my job, I work in the medical field, so we're just fast moving. We see about 100+ patients a day, so coming in, out, just fast paced everywhere. Even if you go to certain restaurants, you just see how they're working faster than somewhere else that might just take their time. Here's your food. No, they're calling, who's next? Did you order this? What do you want? Hurry up, let's go. So it's very fast moving here. If you're not able to keep up with the pace, well, you're gonna have to learn. And my last experience of reality living here is going to be that toughness, that New York toughness. Now, you know, when our ex-governor said New York strong, he didn't just mean that as, you know, COVID. He meant that as we are very tough here. We have that real resting bee face because, you know, nobody's gonna be really sympathetic with you here. You know, we got the attitude. I know I have that RBF all up here. I was told that I look really angry when I'm walking on the sidewalk, and I don't think I'm really approachable when I'm walking on the sidewalk. It's just how we are, you know. We've been through a lot. It's not all that it seems here of all the life. You know, you might have that. You might be able to achieve that. Great for you. Wonderful. A lot of us might be able to, you know. It's not too bad here for me. Others, it might be. It's unfortunate. But that's just how we are. We're very tough. We're very strong at what we do. We have to be tough in certain situations here growing up and every day as a working person or whatever you do here. But that's just the reality of it, you know. Some of us may have attitudes, but we don't really mean it. That's just how we are. So, you know, we're still nice, we're still loving. Like I said, I feel like, especially after like 9/11, a lot has kind of changed and shaped us into the way that we are, to be that sort of tough, strong group of people. But you know, at the end of the day, people are still nice. They'll hold the door open for you. They'll say good morning. We're not the scariest people in the world, okay? So guys, that is just my reality of living here in New York City. You know, everyone's experience is different, but this is just mine from what I see and what I experience on a daily basis living here. and it might be different for you if you do live here. So if you do and you have your own experiences, definitely drop it down below in the comment section. I would love to hear it. And also this might give you some insight if you do plan on moving here or even visiting. It's still a wonderful place to visit, many things to do. And yeah, that's all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.